All right, y'all, we back. Episode 11, recording El Chapo. Last time we heard from the twins, they were haggling back and forth with the United States government, realized that the feds weren't there to help them, the feds weren't there to protect them, feds were there to collect on what the twins offered, period. The twins found themselves in a position of feeling like it was all on them and they had to figure out the plan and execute. Let's see what they did.
At the time, there's a war going on. It just started.
Right.
They're making everybody pick a side. Yes, me and my brother caught in the middle. Between two, at that time, were the biggest drug cartels in the world. The most powerful, the most deadliest cartels. It's not somebody telling you like you're in a gang. It's the boss telling you, hey, if I find out that you're receiving 1 kilo from them, you're gonna have to answer.
Right.
Then not only that, they're gonna say, and all your little friends that you have that we know you have, I want them taken care of. Some of these people are my friends, some of these people I'm close to.
Right.
And you have that on top of me cooperating.
The pressure of that already going on.
We're still selling drugs, meaning we're still playing cops and robbers every day.
The government had a hard time understanding. If I tell them, don't sell no more drugs to me, they're gonna think, oh, these dudes picked the other side.
Right.
It's a war. They don't play fair. If we send our wives away, we send our family away, and then they come and they're like, well, where's your family at?
Right.
Something's wrong. We put them in that situation. At the same time, it's like, both our wives are pregnant. While we've been cooperating.
The pace where expect the strangest things to happen is right here.
Our children are a month apart.
Wow.
Who does that? Who puts their family, their kids at risk?
Right.
We made the mistake of them knowing that we're family men, knowing that we're always with our wives. As a man, you're like, damn, what am I doing?
Y'all made the mistake of letting everybody in on everything in your life, including your wives, letting them in on information and things that they didn't need to know and weren't supposed to know. Probably would have been safer not knowing. Another thing is, you just caught insight into the amount of things that they were going through leading up to and during this decision. Even though it wasn't a back against the wall, gun in the mouth moment, these guys had realized that this war with the cartel was just going to make things that much more difficult, and all the hell that they've already suffered was about to come tenfold. So they made their decision to put their parachute on, which was the federal government, and jump. Anything that looks out of the ordinary at any moment can blow their cover, get them all popped off. So at this point, they wake up in the morning and realize that they're still swept up in a hurricane of chaos. Cartel war, threats from both sides, everybody watching their every move. They know what they're doing, so they got their own nerves and anxieties to go with it. See how they survive this.
Carrying that with you, that what you're doing. You're betraying everyone you...
Right. It's going against
yourself.
everything that you already...
Everything that you ever known, everything that you work for, everything, all the people around you your whole life. We're keeping stuff from my own family. Our wives, us four were the only people that knew what we were doing. We don't tell anyone, because first of all, trustworthy. Second of all, because if we told those people we love, we were scared that they were going to try to change their mind. Because it didn't benefit anyone but us.
It condemned others. It killed others. It murdered others. That decision had ripple effect.
Getting out of the cartel and changing your life is not as simple as just walking away. Every path had the potential to take away the twins' life, one way or another. Age and family have a way of bringing your priorities into perspective. Breaking the cycle of their family history, stopping themselves from repeating what their father did to them, was going to be a monumental task.
It all goes back to family. It's that bond that keeps you going. You want to be better for the people you love and create a better life for them, no matter what it takes. Ultimately, that was what pushed the brothers to do what they had to do.
Going to meet the Fed. We're in a hotel, and of course we discussed what I was interested in, getting the best deal possible. And they were looking at me like I was crazy.
I do remember like my brother calling, I want to know details. And I remember him saying, bro, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're lost. They're just lost. I don't know if this is a good idea. That didn't make us feel good.
Too late.
We were in another country. with no protection whatsoever. And it was just a very scary feeling, I think, for all of us, because we didn't realize that the U.S. didn't have any jurisdiction in Mexico and that they would basically be on their own. And they would basically have to do everything as if the U.S. wasn't involved. And I think that's what was more the scary part. Knowing how innovative that the Sinaloa cartel was very frightening, just because, you know, they had people that they would hire, like IT people that would drive around and they would pick up phone conversations from the airwaves to make sure that nobody was telling. Cooperation is like, that equals death. You're in grave danger and there's no guarantee. And I just was, I think, scared for our lives. It was like so surreal. I knew there was no turning back. And that to me was scary in itself. When Jay and Peter were meeting with agents, that didn't sit well with me, because I felt like somebody was gonna find out.
And we're kind of going back and forth, kind of just sharing information. I remember we met with him. I said, listen, Chapo and my colleague want me to go see them. You guys want to come? One of them had all tats. He looked like a biker. And at that time, there's a lot of Canadians there. So I'm like, man, you look like they won't even think you're an agent. You could come with me. I'm going to say that you're my Canadian customer.
Boy, these dudes was wilding the fuck out. They're inviting people to the Chapo Mayo meetings and shit. Wow. It seems like they're not even worried about taking a Fed with them and the Fed messing things up. They already said it. These guys are lost. We give these guys props. Think there's some kind of Tom Cruise Mission Impossible. Some of these guys are goofies at 2 left feet. Couldn't find their ass in their pants.
And they're like, absolutely not. That would never happen. I guess they didn't trust me. Like, I was not ever going to try to put them in harm's way.
But there you are trusting them. And they don't even trust you, dog. There you are trusting them. That's what made me think, like, hey, you're not worried about taking these goofballs up there to say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing? They seem to be a little bit more discerning than you.
I mean, I was getting that bold, I guess. Getting frustrated. So we'll meet with them and...
I don't know if it's bold or reckless.
Just give them information. We had given them a couple of loads and just talk to them about the business. It was just stressful.
Yeah.
Really, really stressful. It was very, very stressful. I remember, like, at the time when I'm talking to agents and we're like a little deeper into our cooperation, and they're like, I'm gonna give your number to this agent. I'll be like, do not give my number to no one. I don't want no one to know I'm doing this. And sadly, like, there was a cooperator who didn't make it. We come to find out that there was a Colombian man that was cooperating with the feds, and they had found out about it.
Against Chapo?
Against Arturo Beltran.
Against Beltran?
Yeah, they had a lot of people on the payroll, a lot of higher-ups on the payroll in the government, and they
so Beltran had a lot of higher-ups in the government on his pay, in the U.S. government,
in the Mexican government,
Mexican government on his payroll.
Yeah, these individuals are working together on special teams with the U.S. government. They're feeding them information. They're in turn feeding the information to the cartel. And this is at the very top. So at that time, we're working on the deal, and cocaine gets a little bit hard to get. And Arturo Beltran, he's on the run. They have him bad on the run at the time. Arturo Beltran's like, they're kicking on every door. Everywhere he stays, they're like on him, you know? Like, they're hot on his tail. And I remember they called us and say, look, I got 5 tons coming.
Who called you?
Arturo Beltran and the people, like, I got 5 tons. You tell me how much you want to buy of these. And we're like, well, let me see how much money we could get together. So we end up purchasing like 1,040 kilos. I record those calls. And the load got through. And I purchased 1,000 kilos of that. Well, I turned that over to the feds.
And were you not supposed to purchase it from Beltran?
No, I'm playing both sides at this time. I have to.
Boy, y'all made it out of some shit, boy. I'll give you that. Playing both sides to the middle. Got some goofy feds walking around while you're trying to be meticulous and on point. Getting frustrated, being a little bold. Y'all were playing a dangerous game.
I took that risk because in order for me to not only to complete my cooperation, I had to keep myself alive. It was oh my God, it was just a nightmare. It was a nightmare to be thinking like I'm the feds, Chapo, my Arturo Beltran. Like you're trying to just satisfy everyone and risking it all every day. I can't even tell you in words what it was like. At the same time, I have my baby coming.
He was a zombie, for sure.
Yeah, it was.
Couldn't eat, really, wasn't present, trying to juggle so many things.
And at the same time, like my brother brought the idea. He brought the idea to the table, then he would disappear on me. I'd be so pissed off at him, man. Like, bro, like, you gotta help me.
What do you mean he disappeared?
Like, I hate to say it like that, but that's why I felt like I was saying that he didn't like the idea of like recording the people. Once that hit home, it was like, it wasn't the part he wanted to entertain. It's just so ugly of a time, man. I worked so hard, man, just to do everything I could to help the government in order, in turn to help ourselves in the future. I used to feel sometimes the government didn't do a good enough job to put the case together, Like we're out there on our own. No help, like no guarantee. It was like November the 12th. I remember it being a nice, chilly November day in Mexico. We had all the people with us. And I remember I had been expecting the call from Chapo for like a day or two. And I had his phone in my pocket. And I remember it was a white phone. And I had the recorder in my other pocket. At that time, I was carrying the recorder around. We're going to eat, and we're in a convoy of trucks. Me, Ved, like all of us are going out to eat. And the Mexican government sent me a police present. And on a normal day, you send a lookout, tell you how it looks. On this day, it was just like Sunday or something. We're gonna go, we're gonna have a family meal. And we're passing up, like, we're getting to like a popular place in Guadalajara, they call it La Glorieta Minerva. And I see that they have a military checkpoint, like a whole cop checkpoint with the military. And I'm with the convoy, and I had the recorder in my pocket. And I'm like that's all I need for them to pull me over, and I have the recorder in my pocket. They'll just stop anywhere and put a checkpoint, and they'll just stop pulling cars over. And I remember they see me, and they start telling me to pull over. And I kind of like pull to the side. I'm panicked. I'm like in panic mode. I kind of pull to the side, but there's like a long line of the cars that I already had pulled over. And I kind of pulled off to the side, and I just took off. And they didn't come. Thank you, God. I was like, thank you, God, they didn't come.
If they'd have found the recorders, what do you think would have happened?
3/4 of them work for the cartel.
Yo, they be making all the wrong decisions. He fed into his panic there and drove off. It worked. It's like you stumble into this amazing luck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand it. Every time these dudes make a mistake, the universe corrects it.
Either one, they work for the cartel. The other, they're actually real good cops, and they're turning me in. Like, why do you have a recorder? I had people in the car. Like, it was just, oh my God. And those moments were just one after another. Not too long after that, I make another recording. I turn in a load of heroin. The government's allowing me to pay for these loads wait for our own cash. I give the government the money, and they'll process the money and then turn it in to the cartel. And they're gonna document all this. So my workers don't know that I'm cooperating. So I tell them, I'm on the phone with the agent saying, look, we're gonna hand over the money at this place, at this time. And then he'll be like, okay, let me see if I get my team there. Okay, we got a team there. So they'll just document that they're seeing this exchange of money. What scared me is that when I would send my courier, that he never noticed that the feds were there. And that made me feel like how vulnerable this operation could be.
How vulnerable it's been for as long as you've been doing it. That anybody could have just stood across the street and been watching.
He doesn't realize that the feds are watching him. I know they're watching him. You know, they turn over the money to the cartel's carrier, turn in the money. 7 minutes later, my phone rings. It's Chapo Mayo's compadre, their head of security. And he's like, listen, there's something fucking funny, man. You guys rats?
Oh, shit.
The guy's calling me saying that, there's a car following him, that the cops are following it, they're on him. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm calling my worker on the radio.
So the worker didn't know that they were being followed, but the cartel boys knew they were being followed.
And I'm letting him hear. I'm like, hey, did you see a car? Did you give him the money? And he's like, yes, I gave him the money. He left. Did you see anyone follow him? He's like, no. Yeah, I seen him go down the street. I went my way. He went his. I'm like, is anyone following you? No. I know that they're following him. And I'm like, I don't know why you're saying that. Like, there's something funny here, man. I said, let me call you back.
I'll never forget that day. Sure enough, I think on this drop-off, the DA has a helicopter and has a couple cars. They're following the car back with the money.
All loud as shit. Chopper 20 feet above the car.
Usually I would have recorded a call like that, and I couldn't because he caught me off guard, and I picked up the phone. And he was like, hey, listen, motherfucker. They're fucking following my guy. Are you a fucking snitch or what the fuck? Swallowed. I was like, who the fuck you talking to like that? You asked me to do you the favor. Now I'm the snitch? I said, I'm gonna talk to my dad about this. Like, oh, no. Just, let me just see, man. Maybe it's nothing. Get off the phone. I was like, whoa, shit, I'm pissed.
You got a real gangster over there second guessing himself.
By that time, our relationship with the agents already had kind of you're just talking to something. We'll talk about life.
Y'all became friends. Stockholm syndrome. You guys will have badges and navy blue and yellow windbreakers before we know it.
Or talk about the case or, with different agents. Hey, you remember this time and how'd you guys do this? Or whatever the case is. And I remember calling back and he's like, what the fuck? I'm literally probably even got emotional. I'm like, oh, my family's here. You're fucking putting my life in danger. Over 20 fucking keys, whatever the fuck. I was just like, fuck. Who knows? Just
screaming, call it off. And I'm shocked, what's happening?
Literally emotionally, begging them in the worst way.
What did they say when you said, call it off, call it off?
Hold on. I'll call you back, let me find out. I did feel a little betrayed by them. There's no reason why.
Don't feel betrayed. They're not your friend. Ain't no feel betrayed. They're not there to protect you. They're there to make they bust. If they felt like taking that 20 keys in that moment and just throwing you to the wind and saying, fuck you, fuck El Chapo at that point, it just would have been what it was. They don't give a shit. They're not chess players, man. These dudes are not thinking war strategy. They're just doing what they do. They throw their toys out there, their choppers, their cars, They put on their funny mustache and, act incognito, but everybody sees them.
You're going to have to put my life... you don't have to do any damn stings. I'm right here. I'm helping you guys.
And then I remember calling Chapo's head of security back and be like, look, I don't know what to tell you. My guy's good. I'm going to tell him take a couple spins and see what happens. And then he was like, look, man, there's something funny here. All right? He's like, I'm going to tell you something right now. that money ain't gonna be counted until it gets in my hands. So you're responsible for it. And then I remember a couple of days later, I just follow up, but I'm like, hey, so did you get the money? Everything good? He's like, yeah, everything was good, man. But like, weird, like, and them moments would drive me crazy. How could you sleep good at night?
How did you?
You couldn't.
I think I had lost Peter already when he started his cooperation.
Was there ever a time during that 7 or 8 months that you thought they'd sussed you? The cartel had sussed you out?
Yes. It was nerve-wracking once I was cooperating. I remember this one time, like it was in October, September, October. They said they wanted both of us to go. He would call them, like at the time they'll be like, La señora y el señor, they want to see you. And I understood that was Chapo and Maya were asking to see us. I was like, we both can't go, you know? I explained to the lieutenant, and he was telling me, yeah, let me call you back. Okay, one of you guys can come, but you gotta tell me what day you're gonna be here. And you better be here. I was like, all right, let me check some flights. And I'm talking to my brother like, bro, man, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, man. They're calling saying they want to see us. And I was like, look, let me ask them for some cocaine. If they give it to us, then we're good. If they say no, then something's wrong.
But did you not think then they could be tricking you?
Yeah, but they don't want to trick you and give you 700 kilos.
Right, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
so if they gave you coke, it was a way to know that they hadn't figured you out?
Yeah, because if not, they would have been like, no, come see me, then we'll talk. Then I would have been like, okay, we'll be there Friday, and be like, we gotta go. You know?
Yeah.
I remember asking him for the cocaine. I'm like, yeah, I asked him for like a large amount. He's like, hey, let me see what I have. And he tells me like, yeah, we have 380, whatever, I could give you the rest in a couple of days. I was like, okay, great. When can I pick him up? Oh, you can pick him up tomorrow if you want, or today. And I felt, okay. I felt that tense, like, we'll see what he says. And then, you know, at that time, you know, I'm talking, and he's texting me some stuff. And I'm like, all right, bro, then you could go. But it was still nervous, like sending my brother, you know?
How did Jay go?
So Jay went.
It's about time Jay goes.
He was there, and everybody was there during that meeting. There was a lot of the main cartel heads, you know? My brother was snapping pictures. I can't believe, I'm like, bro, like, why would you do that? Why would you risk it?
He's a full-on Fed at this point, man. Not just tape recorders, cameras too. Taking pictures, wilding. It's like blind luck, man. That nobody turned around saw you with that camera.
It's not coming. They'll let you keep your phone. So that was like a major, like, no, like, why would you do that? Sometimes I would record stuff on my phone. Take like pictures. I remember one time I took so many good pictures that something happened where I got nervous. And I started erasing the pictures. Like, I don't want to be like, why are you taking pictures? My wife is right here. I think we talked about it. And sometimes she'll be like, how the fuck did you do that? There's one time where they had a table, and they have all kinds of stuff on top of the table, radios and stuff. And I said, like, I'll call him, senor. I'm like, I'm gonna step away. I'm gonna use your phone. I got a call, check in. And I had to check in with my wife. They laugh about that. And I grabbed the phone, satellite phones, and I'll dial. I would buy a brand new phone so I could I would buy a brand new phone that I had with me, you know, to be able to talk to Peter or to like that. So we would buy brand new phones just for those visits. I have their phone number. You know, I have no service on my phone. So I had Val's phone. I called the number on the satellite phone. Yeah, ring. I'll hang up. Oh, it's not working. I'll grab the next phone. Ring. Hang up. I try to get all the phones there. I even be like, if I see them have phone, hey, the phone's, I don't know, it's not going through. Let me see your phone. Now I have all their phone numbers.
That was nerve-wracking because he's there using every phone of their satellite
But I always
phones.
did it though. So it wasn't like something.
Yeah, were you not scared they'd be suspicious?
I always did it. And I was calling my wife's phone. It's not like I was calling the agent. But I was just registering all the numbers. So I could give it to the government.
People with Chapo might Arturo, but I don't care who you are. They're just regular men. Selfish people. They're not, they're not gods. They're regular, corrupt-ass people that only care about themselves.
Absolutely.
They will bend and break every rule, betray you and kill you and not care about you. Honestly, it was funny. They would do anything to save their own family, cooperate, sell out their main best friend to save their own family. And then they want to kill you because you do the same for yours.
I believe that's part of the game down there. It's part of the strategy. Somebody get too big for their britches, you put your police on them. The police you got in your pocket. It seems to me in Mexico they have that mentality amongst the cartels, like anything goes. Evidently the twins felt like they were just playing the same game.
I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. So many things to think about. And I lived with that for months. Every day to try to let go. My only escape was just a couple of moments with my wife that I could get in there and then be reminded of what I'm gonna do. It was just so dreadful to just wake up and so scary to go to sleep. And then, the people who depended on us, I was gonna turn my back on them. Everything we worked so hard to build. Like you were building a big old prison around yourself and then you have to knock it down somehow to go into another prison. I wasn't feeling sorry for myself. I was just mad at myself, like this is what I did. At the same time, I felt like some kind of okay, what I could do, I did. I would tell my family all the time, everything I could do to put myself in a good situation, I did it. Everything I could have done for the government, I went above and beyond. There's nothing more left I could do at that point. I gave them millions of dollars. I turned in people, I turned in drugs, I turned in everything. I did everything in my power. I went above and beyond to help build this case from practically alone. My brother and I were alone. It took work to be, it took sacrifice, it took God's blessings to just be here today.
Do you still think it was the right decision? Be honest.
Now, you talk to me on a Monday, I tell you yes. Tuesday, I might tell you no.
Because you didn't get that picket fence that you thought you'd get, that normal life.
9 months of recording deals with the lieutenants of the cartel. So
That's a long time, man. 9 months of freaking out every morning, every night. Wow.
Be honest.
Now, you talk to me on a Monday, I tell you yes. Tuesday, I might tell you no.
9 months of recording deals with the lieutenants of the cartel certainly helped the feds put together their case. But there was one major piece of evidence they needed. A call with Chapo himself. It's something that, until now, have been impossible for anybody to get.
I'm wondering if this is the call where the twins asked Chapo to knock off $5,000 from each kilo for 20 kilo load that they have. I'm going to react to that conversation eventually. There's a couple interesting things I heard in there.
I remember I missed the first call. I missed the call when he called me. I remember I was sitting there, and I remember my brother standing there. I dropped my bag and I ran back to the house. The girls are there, and they see me, and I'm telling my brother, follow me upstairs.
Because there was loads of people in the house all the time.
Yeah, just running away, just trying to get away and get a quiet space. I was so nervous, not, of course, to make the recording, but of what was to come. What did this mean for my life? It was an ugly feeling, Getting the recorder out, and the only thing the feds had given me a earpiece with a microphone on it, When you put the phone to your ear, you could hear it and then they could record. I remember putting it to my ear and like the secretary answered. I'm like, oh, it's the twin.
Amigo, buenas noches.
Buenas noches, ¿qué dice? ¿Cómo está?
Bien, ¿cómo le va?
Bien, bien.
Where were you in the house?
Upstairs. I remember we were in the first bedroom and I remember locking the doors. Jay's like right there.
In your face?
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't even know what to say. I remember him saying amigo, like hearing his voice again.
Amigo.
¿Qué dice, oye? ¿Cómo está?
Bien, bien, gusto saludarte. ¿Cómo está tu carnal?
Todo bien, ¿no? Ve aquí. Lástima que no me tocó verlo el otro día.
Ah.
Era mi hermano.
Pero ahí estamos a la orden, ya sabes.
Sí, oye, todo bien.
The call with Chapo was the one chance the twins had to prove that they were telling the truth to the US government. It was their only ticket out. Their life depended on this one call. Without the recording, the vital piece of evidence the feds needed, they wouldn't have been able to make a deal. All they had to do was get Chapo to confess without raising any suspicion at all from the world's most notorious and violent drug boss. The man who personally admitted to executing at least 2,000 people himself. Easy, right?
I felt ugly. It did. I had to get over that and just use this lie about getting a cheaper number on the heroin. That phone call was that what I was telling them was the truth, that me and him had a working relationship, that he knew that my office was in Chicago and that he had sold drugs to me and sold tons of drugs to me and my brother, and that he was like, you know, we were working together to move these drugs and sell them. I understood at that time that to make the conversation good is that we talk about future shipments and past ones. That was like a big moment, you know. I remember thinking like, this is like my ticket home one day. I remember getting another phone and just playing back the conversation and like with anticipation, like I hope I got it. Like nerves, like did we get it? Imagine we didn't. Imagine having to call Chapo back. Hey, can we do this again? Take two. These are the things that go through your mind, like playing the conversation again and thinking like I can't lose this. Let's record it on our other phone. And my brother, here, you could re-record it, you know, like copy it on your phone too, like later on off my other phone. And then thinking like, we're not gonna give it to the feds until we make a deal. It was those little troubles, those little struggles that you're facing, all those perils of cooperating, right? People really don't know. Like, imagine every day it was like this for all those months and having our family and being stressful. And again, it's something that we had to do. We put ourselves in that position. I will say, I think for all those years that we sold drugs, those months of cooperating, in my head, I was like, we're even. You know, we're even. Like, I didn't risk myself this much, you know, when I was like selling the drugs.
Whatever works. Whatever makes you feel better.
Me and my brother putting our life at risk doing all this. I remember like talking to the feds. And I was like, I got it. Like, what? Got the call, man, with Chapo. They're like, get the fuck out of here. I'm like, for real? I'm like, you wanna hear it? It was like late and they're like, bro, don't fuck around with me. Like, you really got it. I got it. And then I remember just them calling me. And our plan was not gonna work. They wanted to stop fucking around and bring it. The feds meet us where we had been meeting before in a subdivision. It's like a big ass oak tree. Like the street lights, it was just like a dark spot in this subdivision that I wasn't comfortable with meeting at because other people lived there, but you know, I could only complain so much. Go park behind You know, this Land Cruiser, bulletproof Land Cruiser with diplomatic plates. And I'm jumping in the car. How more up? You know, they just shoot me. Just kill me. Is that what you want me to do? Just die? Just tell me. Like in CARTEL world, you know?
Trusting these feds with your life, and they just play games. They don't give a shit.
Literally behind enemy lines, like just doing that. And that nervous thing of looking around. That nervous, I remember my palms getting sweat, like feeling like cold, like sweat, you know?
On your forehead?
Yeah, it's like mad. At the same time, angry. Like you keep putting me in these situations. I remember going and taking the recorder and be like, don't lose this. You better be there that day. You better be there at my sentencing to tell them what I did to get this. Oh, no problem, man. We're all gonna be there.
Sure.
And you just handed it over?
And then I remember them like, what's next? Oh, they're gonna authenticate it. Make sure it's his voice. But it happened pretty fast. Literally, it's midnight. 1 a.m. when he comes in, like, we got a match. It's in. It was late in the night. I remember they called. They confirmed that it was an authentic recording. I could hear screaming, cheering.
Like a celebration?
Celebration. I was still taken back. But I remember the prosecutor would tell me, I promise you, I'll be doing cartwheels and somersaults at your sentencing. And he'll be like, I'll do cartwheels and backflips. My brother and I had the only legal recording of Chapo Guzman they ever had. We didn't have a plan. 2 weeks after the Chapo recording, we get a call. It's a Sunday. Our attorney wants to talk to us. It's early, right?
2 weeks of knowing that you just did basically the impossible. I mean, you say he's a regular man. Nobody else had tape on this regular man. I guess usually before they ended up taping him, they'd end up tied a chain to a tree that you could see when they drive in. Think about that. 2 weeks. You made this decision. You made it happen. You got the only piece of audio on the biggest fish in the sea. And you got 2 weeks of where's that tape? Whose hands did it end up in? Do they know? Do they not know? Their nervous system had to be fried.
10, 11 in the morning around there. And he said, the U.S. attorney wants to talk to you. He said, he wants you guys to turn yourselves in today. I remember me and my brother looking at each other like, wow.
This is it.
This reality just hit us. Huh? What?
Just like that, after around 9 months of recording and cooperating with the US government, it was time. The twins were given 2 hours to meet back under the big oak tree in the middle of the subdivision and finally hand themselves over. The rest of their family had been in the dark for months. But as soon as the cartel found out about what Pete and Jay were up to, they would come for their family. So they had to drop the bombshell of what was about to happen. And it started with the man who brought them into this life in the first place, their father.
I think it was the hardest thing I had to do was to face my father. My father used to be like, you could be a killer, you could be whatever, you're just not gonna be a thief, and you're not gonna be a queer. And the most important one, you're never gonna be a snitch. I had to lie to him. Me and my brother came up with this lie to try to soften it up a little bit.
That's how y'all move.
We go to his house that we bought him. Regardless, he lived a great life, right? His $3 million house, brand new cars.
Yo, these dudes will justify it however, but we gave him a good life, right? For however many years we was in the game. He had a good life. Now, suffer the rest of your fate. Like, bro, whatever makes you feel better, dog. You don't even have to say all that. You're only saying that to placate your inner disappointment in yourself.
I said we have to talk, and without my mom, it was hard. Like, I didn't even know how to say it. And I don't even know who even spoke. But I said, I did mention, I said, Dad, the government found us. He said, what? I said, the government found us.
Technically, you found them. So that was the little lie that you gave them to soften the blow. You made it seem like the government found them instead of Sammy the Bull woke them up in the middle of the night and inspired them to call the feds.
They've been watching us. They know exactly where you live. They know where we all live. He's like, are you serious? I said, yeah. He said, come on, let's go. You know, he's walking with me. Let's go. No, it's over. There's no more running. He said, you could go. I said, they knocked on the door and they said, your life is going to be in danger anyway, so we're going to arrest you, or you have a chance you could cooperate. He looked, he said, what? And what'd you say? I said, we will cooperate. I cannot put my family in danger. He said, you will cooperate? And he said, what type of fucking men are you? Cooperate, he said. Them men, them people kill you, they will hunt you. They will kill you. You could never survive going against them. How could you? You knew what the fuck you were doing. And I remember saying, it's not even about us, it's about our family. He said, fuck them. You guys are fucking cowards. I raised fucking women. He said, oh, now you guys want to, snitch. He's like, you know who Chapo and Maya are? I remember, I never liked talking back to my dad. I know who they are. And if it's going to be me or them, I'm going to choose me every fucking day. You could look up to him. You admire him. You do whatever you want. I'm not. And I said, they're giving us a chance to leave. Do it for us. You never did anything for us. You gave us this life. I'm just saying, just give us a chance. Let's just leave. He said, I can't. I said, they're willing to forgive you. And they're willing to give you a visa. That hurt him. That hurt him.
Yeah, y'all made him a rat. You put him in your deal.
He looked like, damn, you guys went that far already? We were all in tears. All of us. My father, all of us. I could feel his anger. And then I said, do it for us. Please, just do it for us. Be mad. Do whatever you want. But just do it for us. And I said, me and my brother going to prison. He wouldn't say much. I just kept nodding his head. And just you guys ain't my sons.
Disowned.
What you're about to hear is the full, unedited 2-minute, 15-second conversation that Pete recorded with El Chapo that was played in court during El Chapo's trial in 2018. Pete begins by asking how Chapo is, and Chapo responds with, fine, nice talking to you. How is your brother?
So this interview sheds a lot more light on this conversation. Now this conversation makes sense as to why he was asking him to knock money down. And, negotiation is a thing that happens, He wouldn't have said it if he didn't think he can get a reaction from it. But now, in hindsight, listening to this, I understand why he did it. He wanted to establish to the feds old deals, new deals, cooperation and participation within each other to solidify that these dudes had that type of relationship with Chapo. So now this conversation makes a lot more sense than it meant to me initially when I heard it.
No.
Bueno.
Amigo.
¿Qué dice, oye? ¿Cómo está?
Bien, gusto saludarte. ¿Cómo está tu carnal?
Todos bien, oye, aquí. Lástima que no me tocó verlo el otro día. Era mi hermano.
Pero ahí estamos a la orden, ya sabes.
Sí, oiga, todo bien, gusto saludarlo. Oiga, acá además lo estaban molestando para lo del otro día que recogí allá. Y le iba a decir, ahí tengo el cheque listo, no sé si... Le quería pedir un favor.
Dime.
¿Usted cree que lo podemos arreglar? ¿Me puede rebajar unos 5 pesos de esos.
And another thing that this interview brings to the conversation that it didn't have before is now I listen to the conversation and I picture Jay standing there, inches away from Peter, house full of people, them trying to hide and have this conversation, the anxiety riddled in it, like all of these things that you wouldn't know. You hear a phone call, you just imagine a couple of guys standing there talking on the phone, but now there's all these different things that put into context.
¿Cómo tratamos?
Me lo está dando a 55.
Ay, ¿cómo me van a pagar?
Yo le dije, oiga, si me hace el favor se los pago 50, pero ahí tengo el cheque listo.
¿Ya tienen el dinero?
Digo, si me los puede dejar, ¿verdad? La diferencia de 5 se los pago luego y si quiere mandarme más, pues unos...
Bueno, ¿cuánto es lo que te entregaron?
Me entregaron 20.
¿Cuánto?
20.
Bueno, entonces mañana recojo el dinero, ¿está bien?
¿Sí? Ok.
¿Está bien ese precio?
Ok, le agradezco mucho. Es que allá el otro señor también me había dado algo que no salió bueno y los tengo que ahí emparejar.
Oye, ¿tú no tienes manera de traer ese dinero hasta aquí?
¿Hasta aquí? Sí.
He's explaining to him why he needs this and how somebody gave him a batch that wasn't as good, so he gotta kind of mix it up and cut it together with the good stuff that Chapo's giving him. Chapo's not even paying attention to that. Chapo's thinking about how he's gonna get the money to himself. He told the twins he'd send somebody for the money, and the twins are like, cool, send somebody for it. And then he asked the twins, you know what, can you send it to me? And the twins are like, yeah, after a couple of days. And he was like, you know what, forget it, I'm gonna send somebody to get that. Chapo ain't worried about nothing but getting that bread. Forget your problems, I don't care who gave you a bad batch, run my 50 stacks.
¿Cómo no?
¿Me lo das aquí entonces?
Sí, oiga, si me da unos, deme unos días y aquí se lo tengo. Es más, yo tenía un chequecito que ya venía y en cuanto me llegue, si quiere le adelanto algo. Cuando me llegue tenía como unos 400.
Mira, espérame. Deja, ahorita voy a hablar con una persona. Deja, si hay quien recoge ese dinero allá.
Sí.
Ahorita te hablo para atrás, espérame.
Okay.
Yeah, Chapo's like, oh, this guy's talking about days and this and that. You know what? Let me just send somebody to get that money. Now all of this stuttering and slurring that Pete's doing falls under a lot more context, understanding the pressure that they were under and what they were doing, how they were recording this conversation, how they were basically by themselves in the operation, how, anxious and nervous they were. All right, y'all, we made it to the end of episode 11, recording El Chapo, a technique that Chapo put on the boys early in their relationship of recording their associates has come back to haunt him, and the twins got tape on Chapo. They went and broke the news to their father, told him a little white lie, not that they volunteered themselves, that the feds found them. Their father basically disowned them. We've made it to the finale. Finale will be episode 12. Now all that's left is an exodus from Mexico. Thank y'all for joining me. Please subscribe to the channel. Peace.